Welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribe. First, the headlines. Crude oil, Nigeria's major exports post highest annual gains in over a decade. Anger over Guinea-Bissau and Senegal oil and gas contract. Energy firm to construct 5,000 metric tons of propane LPG storage terminal. Now the news in details. Nigeria's major export product, Brent crude, dipped a bit at the end of 2021. It stands to post its biggest annual gain in 12 years, thanks to a global economic recovery from the COVID-19 slump with producer restraints despite record levels of infections throughout the world. At 7 a.m. Nigerian time, Brent crude futures was down 0.4% at $79 a barrel, while the West Texas Intermediate crude futures was down with 0.5% at $76.6 a barrel. Both Brent and West Texas Intermediate are expected to end the year up with 53% and 57% respectively. That will be the best year for either benchmark contract since 2009, when prices rose more than 70%. Brent touched $86.70 a barrel in October, the highest since 2018, and West Texas Intermediate reached $85.41 a barrel, the highest since 2014. Nigeria, Africa's largest producer of crude oil and gas, gets most of its crude oil from the Niger Delta region. It's primarily classified under two specifications based on its lightness and gravity. The heavier grade with a specification of 20 to 25 gravity, both Nigerian grade types, including the lighter 36 gravity one, are low in sulfur and paraffinic. Bonny Light, Brass River, and Kwa Ibua are examples of Nigerian's grade. Nigeria's oil and gas sector contributes roughly 10% of the country's GDP, while petroleum exports amount to 86% of total exports according to OPEC. The nation's crude oil production in November averaged 1.27 million barrels per day, reclaiming the top spot among oil-producing countries in Africa. As compared with the 1.228 million barrels per day produced on average in October 2021, the figure showed an increase of 47,000 barrels per day. Asiko Energy, one of Nigeria's leading power and gas distribution companies, has formally commenced the construction of its latest project to increase accessibility of the liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) by Nigerians. With the commencement of the groundbreaking exercise of the dual liquefied gas storage terminal located in Ijora, Lagos State, the facility, upon completion, will house 5,000 metric tons of propane LPG storage and a 30 million liter storage tank. The terminal under construction, when complete, will be the country's first dual liquefied gas fuel terminal with the ability to receive, store, and distribute both LPG and LNG. Speaking at the ceremony, Managing Director Asiko Energy Felix Ekundayo stated that the project is a culmination of several years of dedication and hard work by our company. As we commence the construction of our propane LPG terminal, we are also laying foundation for a co-located LNG terminal consisting of a full containment tank, making it the first land-based LNG receiving terminal in Africa. Ekundayo thanked the board of directors of the Asiko Energy, shareholders, colleagues, financiers, and supply partners for over 15 years of partnership. A total of 249.3 billion naira for October 2021 domestic crude oil sales by 6 multinational oil companies and operating in the upstream sector will be paid in January 2022, the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited has said. The NNPC made this known in its latest report on Nigeria's crude oil exports and domestic crude oil sales in the month of October 2021. The report was obtained in Abuja on Thursday. This came as the oil firm revealed that it would also deduct 270.83 billion naira from what would be shared by the three tiers of government during the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee meeting in January next year. It said the 250.83 billion naira was its November 2021 value shortfall. The NNPC posts value shortfalls as a result of what it spends on the monthly subsidy of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. On oil sales, it explained in the report that while the October 2021 crude oil exports of 50,000 barrels under production sharing contract valued at $4.18 million was payable in November 2021, the October 2021 domestic crude oil payments expected in January 2022 from the six firms is 249.3 billion naira. The company further noted that the October 2021 domestic crude oil payable in January 2022 by the NNPC was in line with the 90 days payment terms, adding that the six firms were its joint venture partners. The president of Guinea-Bissau has negotiated an oil deal with his counterpart from Senegal without parliamentary approval. Umaro Sissoko Embalo is now facing a ministerial uprising supported by civil society. Reports reveal that President Sissoko has independently negotiated and signed an agreement with President Sall in October 2020 to unevenly share any future oil and gas revenues in the sea area between the two countries. Neither Guinea-Bissau's Prime Minister Nuno Nabiam nor his country's parliament were informed about the deal. On 15th December, the Guinea-Bissau parliament approved a resolution declaring the agreement null and void. Of the 72 MPs present in the chamber, 70 rejected the agreement. Only one MP voted for the agreement. The president of the National Assembly abstained. We acted to protect the country's best interests, said Mamba Banjai of the Movement for Democratic Change, a coalition partner of President Sissoko's party. Parliamentary President Cipriano Cassama also announced that he will call on international bodies such as the United Nations and the African Union to mediate in the political standoff between the parliament and the president. Sissoko reacted to the vote in defiance. With this vote, Parliament has clearly exceeded its powers and has serious damage to our country's international reputation. The former military general then threatened to dissolve the parliament as soon as possible. A satellite spotted two plumes of planet warming methane rising from a patch of East Texas that's home to multiple oil and gas operations. State regulators said they couldn't identify the source of the methane, which is the primary component of natural gas and traps 80 times as much heat than carbon dioxide in its first 2 decades in the atmosphere. Stemming methane leaks and stopping unnecessary releases is one of the most powerful steps that can be taken to slow global warming. The two plumes were detected by geoanalytic company Kairos SAS using a November 29 satellite observation from the European Space Agency. Kairos estimated that the plumes originated from different sources of Dallas, about 15 miles, in an area dotted with fossil fuel infrastructure. The plumes had estimated release rates of 21 tons per hour and 24 tons per hour. It is not possible to determine the duration of leaks because satellites only capture one moment in time. If they lasted an hour, the two clouds combined would equal the average of annual emission from about 800 cars running in the USA. In keeping with the tradition of restoring a predictable January to December fiscal year as provided for the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday in Abuja signed into law the 2022 Appropriation Bill and the 2021 Finance Bill. The president signed the document in the presidential villa in the presence of Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, and other members of the Federal Executive Council. Speaking at the event, the president said the 2022 budget just signed into law provides for aggregate expenditures of 17.127 trillion naira, an increase of 735.85 billion naira over the initial executive proposal for a total expenditure of 16.391 trillion naira. The president explained that 186.53 billion naira of the increase, however, came from additional critical expenditures that he had authorized the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to forward to the National Assembly. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Crude oil, Nigeria's major exports, post highest annual gains in over a decade. Anger over Guinea-Bissau's and Senegal's oil and gas contracts. Energy firms to construct 50,000 metric tons of propane LPG storage terminal. And that's the news. My name is Naomi Oleribe. Have a great day.